What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. We here. I'm trying to keep professional, man. We got all type of stuff going on the phone. This is the late night. This is the tip-off NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark show, man. Every day, 6 o'clock Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern with my guy Shark. What's up with you, my guy? Everything cool with you?
Hanging out, 6 p.m. on the East Coast, Tuesday, baby, Tuesday. Happy hour hoops. Big slate, lot to talk about. I know Jay Money's been working all day, 3 shows in the lab. I just got out of the lab, a little late cap, obviously posted on Twitter. 4 looks, 2 games. Jay Money, let's dominate.
Let's get straight into it, man. This is a game that we didn't talk about earlier. We got the Nuggets versus the Pistons here. First game of a little home and home. You got the Nuggets, first game back-to-back. They got the Nets tomorrow, but then you have the Pistons, first game back at the house off that West Coast road trip here. Shark, what are we looking at, my brother?
Precisely that. Both of my caps today find 2 of the worst teams in the league coming off of West Coast trips, 4-game and 5-game trips respectively, and clustered ATS wins. Detroit comes in here off a 3-0 ATS sample, an outright win at the Kings, and a cover at Denver going back to the last game. And, of course, we talked about this coming into this calendar year. We want to find situations where teams are playing each other in close windows. We really want to avoid where teams played last year in March, and now it's ambiguous. You go to the Nuggets here. Great stuff. Nuggets are 5-0 first quarter and first half against the East. Go back early season, Miami, Orlando, New York, and Atlanta Hawks, one other one as well. You find a situational environment as well where Detroit comes in here on the front, or excuse me, Denver comes in here on the front end of a back-to-back. They play at the Nets tomorrow. We always talk about this. They're going to want to conserve energy late to be able to compete tomorrow. And I really think finding Detroit coming off a trip, one corollary, game 1 home against the Kings, absolute slaughterhouse. It's really checking all the boxes. Nuggets going to want to come out here, really set the tone early, and just get this game out of the way, but not have to play 4 quarters. Top looks here, first quarter -2.5 and first half -4.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off. I'll ride with you on those as well. I'm always in the business of fading the teams when they come back to the house. A 4-more game road trip early on, it's just a funky spot. It's hard to get up for them. Obviously, probably taking care of a lot of stuff on your days off as well. You come in there, maybe the second home game back is the bye spot. We'll talk about that in a little while. But that first home game back, we talk about it in the next game as well. They just came out absolutely terrible. It's hard to bring energy as well. So could definitely see the Nuggets trying to get this one over with having the Nets on deck. I'll ride with you, Nuggets first quarter, first half here, my guy. Let's go over here to the streets of Toronto. We got the 6 here, man. Now, it's all type of stuff going on this. The way I kept the game, obviously, I thought it was full squad. And I'll be honest, sometimes you kind of hop off something. I always just trust myself. I won't go official on this. Obviously, I already did earlier. I was on the Raptors. I like them. My money's on it. My money's on first quarter, first half, full game. Like I say, it's personal bets. I don't even suggest you guys to take that now. I still hope it cashes, but I hope you understand it's a different element now. Still think the spot is right for the Raptors. The Hornets won't have Gordon Hayward once again. Both teams looking at bounce back spot. You look at the Raptors here, absolutely insulted. They were down 45-15 in the first quarter. We're down 64-34 in the first half as well. What happened? It was their first game back at the house a while on first off of a road trip. Obviously, there's no fans over there. They talked about it. It's hard to bring energy there, but it also goes for the road team as well. Those teams aren't necessarily used to going into arena with no fans. We know the Hornets have been playing good on the road. First game back-to-back as well for both teams. It's still Raptors are nothing for me here. Unfortunately, Van Fleet is out. Then you get Scotty Barnes listed questionable as well. It's still Raptors are nothing for me here. Simple, Shark.
Yeah, this game for me is going to be a toss. I go back to last year. Of course, Toronto did not play at home last year. They were in Tampa, but both home results last year were 3 points. Toronto was on massively inflated lines at that point, -10 and -6.5. This is coming down. However, you do get a revenge game for Toronto. My other issue here is with Charlotte coming on the road. We've seen Charlotte early season not being particularly good on the road. They have changed that script significantly. Last 3 games on the road, all as dogs, all outright wins at New York, at Philly, and at Boston. And I just think you're hovering in a tight spot. As you said, Van Vliet out and no fans. You do want to buy Toronto in home game too. They were so pathetic against Portland in the last game. Not only was it home game 1, not only was it no fans, but they just came out and they were building mansions with their bricks. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And we talk about this all the time. Somehow the Pelicans got home for us last night, shooting 6 for 30 from 3. I don't know how they covered that, but they did. But Toronto could not get out of their own way. They were absolutely useless. They shot 54 threes. I believe they were shooting less than 10% 2/3 of the way through the game. They did cluster and score 38 in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, just talk about a disaster. It makes you want to take Toronto. Revenge game number is moving toward Charlotte. Was 2.5 in the last matchup and a win at home. But, again, Charlotte on the road here, 3-0 ATS last 3, doesn't stop. A lot of ambiguity for me here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'll be honest with you guys. Straight up, simple, how I'm looking at it. I think the Hornets are finna go on a little slide here. They were, this team is one of those teams where they come out hot at the beginning of the season, then they go through a little streak, and then they're hot again. This team is going to be hovering around the play-in tournament, guys, and they got some injuries as well. You got Gordon Hayward out. You got Jay McDaniels as well. Their bench is not super strong. So we'll see what happens in this one still. I guess, in all honesty, my cappers on this game was the Raptors coming in this one motivated off of a real lackluster loss. They came down. Any other team in the NBA is laying down 30 at the half. This team came back and made it a 3-point game late. So I like them to bring that momentum into this game. It's still Raptors or nothing for me. I know that everyone's going to go hop on the Hornets as well. So we'll see what happens. The Hornets have the Hornets have the better offense. The Raptors have a lot better defense. They're also 6-0 against the spread coming off last 6 coming off ATS loss, and 8-1 against the spread last 9 coming off a straight up loss. It's still we the North for me, my guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Washington D.C. here. We got the Clippers facing off against the Wizards. Another late injury here. Unfortunately, Marcus Morris is out. Still Clippers are nothing for me. Wizards 1-9 against the spread last 10 games. I didn't bet this game, but the Clippers, they're never out of a game. They could get down 25 and they never give up. Those are the type of teams that I like to have my money on. Not necessarily the Wizards that's in a funk right now, Short.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree. And we saw this in the last road trip for the Clippers. We talked about this. They're following the same script. Win game 1, lose game 2. This is game 3. And last time they did win game 3 at Brooklyn, this would be a corollary, obviously, on the East Coast here against the Wizards. We've talked about this all year. Wizards have been a great fade team. Ever since they came out through about 20 games, I believe they were 7 or 8 over 500, top 3 in the East, but they had a negative point per game differential. As you guys watch every day, I've been saying this, they should crater. Look what they did. They're cratering. They're finally under 500. And you do look at what's going on here. Clippers come in here in an environment where I think they do function well as a dog. This is their spot. I think it's going to be tighter than people think, and Washington should continue to crater. Free play them on Clippers. Don't love the game, though.
Exactly. Clippers are nothing for this better, guys. Go over here to the streets of Philly. We got the Pelicans versus the 76ers, guys. Pelicans versus 76ers. Only way I could look at this one is the under. I'd be looking at Pelicans team total under as well, guys. I don't see how they score points. They got Ingram out. Valanciunas out. Then you got Devontae Graham. Like I say, man, these guys, Josh Hart, man, this ton of guys out, basically the whole starting 5. I don't necessarily see how they get to past 100 points here. I'm not necessarily saying lay the points with the 76ers. Obviously, you have the possible letdown spot where these guys may not take the game as serious since they know that they're going up against the backups. Kind of like, oh, we know we're going to come in here and win this game easy. Look at the Suns, what they did versus the Jazz the other night. So I'll be looking for a slower paced game. The guys that they have out there are defensive guys as well. NAW, Alexander Walker. You got Jose Alvarado, Garrett Temple, Herb Jones, one of the better defensive rookies. I definitely see this game going under, Shark.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't disagree there. Obviously, this line is very low, and it's very low for a reason. We talk about this all the time. When you see a low line, that shouldn't be an access point taking it over. They're telling you there's going to be a lot less points. And, of course, Pelicans come in here off of back-to-back, scoring 117 last night. We just talked about this, mostly in the paint and mostly from the foul line. 29 for 31 from the line last night. Very impressive stuff in professional basketball. Most teams are not shooting 95% over 30 in one game from the line. You do look at this line, though, at 11 for Philly on the actual ATS side here. It's going to be your hover zone. We see this all the time. We see it with all the top teams. They lay these big figures. The back door is wide open. You get back in the final 6 minutes of the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, here come the backups, and here comes the back door. This could hover around it. Under is by far the top look. ATS side, I think, run and hide.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that, my guy. It's definitely going to be a tough game. I'm not laying 11 with the Sixers. I'd be looking at under and Pelicans team total under. Now, let's go over here to the streets of Boston here, Sharp. We got the Kings versus the Celtics. I believe someone just said Fox out. I'm going to have to get up on that. But regardless, it's Kings or nothing for me here. I don't trust the Celtics laying these amount of points. Should they blow them out? Yes, they should. Yeah, Fox is for sure out and me too as well. Not a ton of rim protection down there for them. The Celtics, man, I don't trust them in this role. It's simple. The Kings, they're 5-0 against the spread last 5 versus the Celtics. Celtics, also 4-1 ATS in Boston as well. The Celtics, they don't do well in these spots, man. 1-6 against the spread at the house, playing last 7 games playing against losing road teams. They play down to their competition. Also 0-5 against the spread last 5 after ATS win here. So the Celtics, I like them in maybe as a dog, maybe short fave, not laying a lot of points. They could be up 15 in the fourth quarter, and I can still see the Kings cover this one. And I hope the Kings go all out in this one, Short.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, we talk about it all the time. When the Celtics are laying inflated figures at home, most of the time they're not going to cover. They have one cover. It was against Portland. It came super late, and that was it. Excuse me, it didn't come against Portland. I forget who it came against. Fuck the Celtics. Bottom line is consistency to the inconsistency. We bought them correctly on Sunday, a blowout win. Jason Tatum came off of an awful stretch, of course, and finally decided to show out. Again, with Jason Tatum, I always say this. Kobe Bryant was his mentor, the guy he looked up to. You want to be Kobe, you got to be more consistent. You got to bring the energy and the passion. Tatum's still a young guy. Of course, these guys coming out of college, first, second year. It's very deceiving when they're in their third or fourth year. They're still very, very young. I think he will find it eventually. I think he probably needs a better coach to really instill that mentality in his mind. He's such an unbelievable player. I don't think he backs up success with success, and the team kind of goes the direction he goes. If he balls out tonight, Jay, they could win this game by 20 points. If he doesn't, they could lose outright. I think this game is going to be tight around that number, 8.5, 9. Definitely a no player.
Yeah, I'm not betting this game. Also, I see Tatum coming out. Actually, it's crazy, Shark. It's like you say, the new age players, they score 50. Then the next game out, they go and score 10. So I could actually see Jaylen Brown possibly this being his game to go off. Hey, Tatum, you had your game. Now pass me the ball, man. So regardless, like I said, I'm not betting this game. This is one of those strictly hope. I'm looking ahead to a spot tomorrow. The Kings play a back-to-back on the road. So that's just me personally. I hope they go all out in this motherfucker. I hope it goes to double overtime. So that's just me. I'm watching this game. I'm rooting for the Kings hard. Won't have my money on anything. Let's go over here to the streets of Brooklyn here, man. We got the Lakers versus the Nets here. You got the first game back with AD. Oh, star player back. This isn't necessarily one, though. This isn't the fade theory. They need AD. You also find them in a revenge spot as well versus the Nets on Christmas Day on national TV. You got the Lakers in need of wins. The Nets, they're trash at the house. 6-17 against the spread. They won't have Kyrie. It'll be Harden, the beard out there with his guys. He don't even like playing in Brooklyn. He didn't like staying in Brooklyn. Maybe that speaks some volumes to them being so bad at the house. No Durant once again. The Lakers, the only way I could look in this one, actually first half and full game, Shark.
Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that. I saw an article earlier today where James Harden apparently had a quote about not wanting to come back or something loose. Of course, who knows what the exact context of the quote was. Small off-the-record comment. It is Happy Hour Hoops with Jay Money and the Shark. I was thinking he might be great in Philly next year, actually. He's a huge upgrade, lefty point guard, distributes well, shoots the ball. He's like Ben Simmons times a million. Imagine James Harden with Joel Embiid coming in there next year. That would be a hell of a fit. Just something that crossed my mind when I read that article. But staying on task here, the Nets come back home off a trip. They're 0-6 ATS in home game 1 off a road game this year. One point, though, that I do think is interesting, they were coming off of a win in all 6 of those environments coming home. This is the first time they come home off a loss all year. That's very, very interesting. It does speak to what Jay was saying. They have been great on the road. They've been poor at home. Who knows why? Obviously, Brooklyn, Barclays, fans, fair weather or not. But that being said, you do find a revenge game here for the Lakers. Obviously, they did lose at home, 122-117. Go back to last year. The Lakers did get hammered at home as well, and then go on the road to Barclays and hammer Brooklyn. Of course, that was Kevin Durant, I believe, in the lineup at that point in time. This is going to be tough for me. As you said, AD back. Will AD just immediately reintegrate? I don't know. AD is an amazing player. He's a top 10 player in the league. But when you don't play for 2 months, it's tough for any guy to come back and really get into the flow immediately. This game for me is a dead toss. I could see him reintegrating. I could see them revenging and balling out in Barclays like they did last year. Or I could see Brooklyn for the first time coming home off a loss on the road all year, coming up in this really outlierish home environment, which should improve. Definitely a toss game.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And unfortunately, with all those other spots, they had KD as well, and they won't have him tonight. You arguably the best player in the NBA. I think they'll miss him in a spot like this. The Lakers, in all honesty, they're due to come up, guys. And I see you guys in chat said Jay had taken the Lakers all season. this team is starting to look a lot better. Obviously, they're a bunch of old guys. Obviously, they're going to coast the season, but they got Ariza back. They got Bradley out there. Like, they actually starting to at least try to play some defense. They showed me some in Miami as well. This guys, pay attention to these teams that could lay down but choose not to. It's actually showing some motivation and passion for the game, which we don't usually see a lot. The Lakers came back, and I guarantee you, if you had the Heat, you were sweating that game. They had it down to like 2 points less. Same thing. I think they bring that momentum into this game. I sprinkled on Lakers first half in this one, especially it speaks volumes as well to the Nets first game back at the house off a road trip, which they did well. I like it more when they don't come off a good road trip, but the Lakers first half, I sprinkled some on it, guys. It was at a better number as well, so I won't go official personal play, but I like the Lakers in this one. Heavy lean first half and full game, guys. I think this is a Lakers type of game. I might have to go put the socks on. I got the Raptors socks on, but the Lakers socks may make it tonight as well. Road team 6-0 straight up and against the spread last 6 meetings. And like I say, AD is back, man. They need him. They need him out there. Sometimes it can really be a jolt of energy to your squad when you've been struggling with the star player back, guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Houston here, man. We taking off, but now we got the Spurs versus the Rockets, my guys. He'll put the hat on for his team. He won't put them on for me, man. But it's all good though. Nah, I'm messing with you. But Spurs versus Rockets, Shark, take them away.
Yeah, we got 2 plays here. We're going first quarter and first half. This is very similar to the cap I had on Denver. You find Houston coming in here off a long West Coast trip, a 3-2 straight up trip, and a 4-1 ATS trip, 3-0 last 3 ATS. And you look at what's really going on here with the Spurs. Spurs come in here at a revenge game off a loss, 128-124, 5 or 6 games ago. This is what I've been saying. Again, I'll say it again. In this early season, early 2022 calendar, you really want to find matchups with recent history where there's actual motivation. And you look at the Spurs on the road off a home loss. They are 5-2 first half ATS. Houston coming home off a road win is 1-4 first half ATS. And I really draw you to a few spots. A Knicks home game in which they came out and got hammered immediately. A divisional game against Dallas in which Dallas went in there and won the first quarter 43-23 and just cruised out the first half. We talk about this with the Spurs all the time. When the Spurs lay down, which they did do in the first half of the 76ers at home, they will want to come on the road. They will want to set the tone. And again, you get Houston off a massive first quarter, first half effort at Golden State last game, coming home game 1, off a trip, and they've been off for 4 nights. This really is checking the boxes for a flat spot. Official play and play 2. San Antonio first quarter -1.5. San Antonio first half -3.
Yeah, I like it as well, man. I sprinkled on Spurs early this morning. This is a spot that I do like, man. It could be a trifecta spot for the Spurs when you look at them here full game. I mean, all of these go coincide, right? If the Spurs really come to play here, they'll smash the Spurs. They'll smash the Rockets. It's really that simple. If they don't come to play, obviously the Rockets can hold tight, guys. I wouldn't necessarily look at what they did versus the Warriors in the teams over there on the West Coast. Now they come back to the house, like you say, with 3 full days of rest. They're 0-2 straight up and against the spread this year with 3 days of rest, and they're also 0-4 straight up and against the spread in the same spot as well, coming off 3 days rest. This is a young team. You think about it, they're millionaires. They have money. You play on a terrible team, you're likely not going to win many games. You're not going to the playoffs. They probably out doing all the other shit, living their life 3 days off, man. They're definitely not practicing, getting ready for this game. You find a revenge spot as well. It's crazy, Sharp, because the Rockets, I was on the Rockets at night. They caught the Spurs in that exact same spot, coming back at the house off a 6-7 game road trip. And guess what they did? They smacked them up. Now it flips. And like I said, in that game, the Spurs had injuries as well. They didn't have Keldon Johnson's first game back. They didn't have White. Now they're fully healthy. They're in need of a confidence-building win, Shark. That's why I like it even more. And what do they get? They get the fucking Houston Rockets. It is on the road here, but Spurs, in all honesty, I think this should be a trifecta spot. I don't see them letting up. And the Rockets, when they get down on themselves and they get blown. When they lose ATS, they get blown the fuck out, guys. So I think this will be a Spurs trifecta spot, Shark. Let's cash today, guys. It's simple. We always trying to cash. Let's go over here. Let's go over here to the streets of Portland here, and basically the same scenario. We got a team that's coming back to the house off a 6-game road trip. You got the Timberwolves with a rest advantage. You worry a little bit about the look-ahead spot to the Warriors TNT game on Thursday, but not hugely. The Timberwolves got to win every single game they come to play if they can. If you're trying to get up in the Western Conference, Finch is a no-nonsense type of guy. I know they're coming to play here. They had 3 days of rest for their last game, so it's only their second game in 5 days. Anthony Edwards is playing tonight, although he was a little banged up. The Timberwolves, they were getting 3 points earlier in Portland, Shark, and they came in there to win that game outright. Now they're favored by 3. The line's all over them. They have the major bench advantage as well, Shark. Net rating, Timberwolves are 7th in the league. Their bench net rating over the last 5 games. The Blazers, dead last, 30th in the league. And for the full season, the Timberwolves have the number 8 bench in the league. So it's not an anomaly. This is what they do. Their bench gives them a lot of production. And the Blazers for the season, 28th their bench. So let's see what happens in this one. I'm rocking with Timberwolves trifecta spot. It's just exactly what you're saying. We're fading them early on, first quarter, first half, and the Timberwolves not fucking letting up tonight. -3 full game as well. Trifecta Jay. Oh, we rocking with the Wolves. I was raised by Wolves, Shark.
Well, because I love Jay and he's my man, and we're going to work for the next 100 years. We have another hat coming in with the positive vibes only, and I might tell that now that you're talking me into it. I think that's a great spot. We talk about this. You guys notice what we're doing here? We're looking at schedule scaling. That's what I call it. You go down the schedule and you figure out where they're going to play and why. And look at Portland again. Portland coming in here off an East Coast trip, coming home off that big win in which they came out and smoked Toronto in the first half. And again, we talk about qualifier nature to games. Did Portland really play that well, or was Toronto just that bad? Toronto was just that bad. Portland comes in here off a long trip in which they were extremely effective, surprisingly effective. I mean, I don't think anybody in the world had them going on the road to the East and winning, 3 or 4 out of 5. It's basically CJ McCollum came back. We didn't know how that was going to go. CJ McCollum obviously played college basketball at Lehigh, so maybe he actually got a wind on the East Coast. Just a thought. He's not, he was comfortable playing there in college, obviously. Now they come back. Wolves come in here. Wolves, as you said, needing wins. Forget about needing wins. The Wolves are a very, very underrated group. I think this team could be a top 7 group in the West. And you said it for one reason. Not only do they have three top 3 picks, people forget this. I said this last week. People forget that D'Lo was a top 3, Towns was a 1, and Edwards was I believe a 1 as well, 1 or 2. And you get these 3 absolute studs, and you have this incredibly deep bench. This bench is deep and it's diversified. It's not guard heavy. It's not big heavy. It's a very legitimate unit. And again, you talk about them coming home off the trip. I think the first quarter and first half are absolutely ripe. 10 p.m. I might tail this one. J Money for the look. And I think this is a great look.
Let's go, man. I honestly, they're the same type of spots, man. Nothing's guaranteed, but I always say you do the capping, you go with your spots, man, and you trust it. It's that simple, man. So you trust yourself, you trust your work, and let's get this cash, my guys. Last game up, we're going to the streets of and real quick, the the Blazers did go 4-2 straight up and against the spread on that road trip, guys. So now they're playing early games. Now they're playing a late night sleepy spot. We'll see what happens. Let's go to the streets of Golden State here, Shark. We got the Warriors. You got the Mavs that's low-key owned the Warriors over the past 10 games, man. 8-2 against the spread last 10. They've won 7 of 8 last meeting. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're catching points, whatever. They winning straight up. You do get a revenge spot for the Warriors, but the line is all over the Mavs here. Warriors laid 4.5 in Dallas. Now they come home laying 3.5, 3. Obviously it's because no Draymond Green, but still the Mavs are balling right now. They're playing some damn good defense. The Warriors, they're taking bettor's money right now. 2-5-1 against the spread last 8 games. Steph doesn't look right. The Warriors don't look right. They're also 0-6-1 against the spread last 7 games after a win. Shark, the Mavs, the only way I could look at this one. Unfortunately, it's the late night TNT game, but I think the Mavs are playing a lot better basketball. These teams are low-key going in different directions right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And zoom even further out. In the month of January, the Warriors are 3-9 against the spread. They had an isolated blowout win at Chicago. They covered against Cleveland at home. I don't know if it's something about facing the Central. I mean, who knows? But anyway, this is not the Central. This is the Dallas Mavericks, as you said, who have absolutely owned them the last 10 matchups. Go back within even the last 3 beatdowns, the last 3. Of course, the Dubs did win there in the first matchup last year, I believe 147-116 or something of that nature. Of course, teams were a lot different last year. This is the second matchup of the year. The Warriors did get absolutely hammered in Dallas going back about 3 weeks ago, 99-82. Jay Money special, he had that one. And we looked at that game. I mean, it was kind of tight in the third quarter, and then the Mavs just absolutely put their foot down, just 100%. And I think that's kind of a snapshot of what we're dealing with tonight with the Warriors. The Warriors, of course, Klay Thompson was not in that position at that point, but the Warriors have a new group. And I always talk about this. When LeBron James went to Miami, it took Bosh, Wade, and LeBron 20 to 25 games to get settled. Klay Thompson hasn't played in over 2 years. He hasn't looked comfortable. His three ball has not been great. And Andrew Wiggins has been ostracized since Klay came back and effectively took his position. Without Draymond Green, and all sorts of reports about Draymond not coming back for a couple months now, Draymond is the cog of the center that makes this offense work. Not only that, he's the energy behind the locker room. He's basically an assistant coach. He's the leading energy within the group, and I think this all connects together. You got new players. You got Klay coming back. Draymond's out. That's why they're cratering. They've been very unimpressive. The only counterpoint to taking Dallas here is purely the idea, when will Golden State get it together? That's the only counterpoint, that at some point they have to figure something out. Why wouldn't it be a revenge game in prime time? So that's the only counterpoint. I can't take a side here. I would lean Dallas as well, but I do think that counterpoint is the idea, when will they figure it out?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It is a question of when. It's just, I'll be honest, guys. I feel like, and nothing's guaranteed, but it's just right now, I would stay away from the Warriors. Obviously, one of the best shooters in league history. His shot is not there right now. Curry can't go off for 30 to 35 points. I can't say he can't. He's always prone to, but it's looking like he's injured or something right now. I'm not necessarily sure, but just know it seems like me. I've been watching him closely. Ever since the game, it was up to the game where he broke the record. Obviously, it was a little off enforcing. Ever since he got it, a huge breath of fresh air, if you ask me. It seems like they kind of just been going through the motions. They know that they don't necessarily need to play their best ball right now, and they're not going to play their best ball right now without their probably arguably best, most important offensive player and defensive player. I know Curry can get hot, but look at Curry without Draymond, without him setting those huge screens for him. Looney isn't the same. He's a flat-footed guy and moves very slow out there. So be interested to see what happens in this one. The Mavs, in their recent form, the only way I can look in this one, it's a late night TNT game. I said I'm staying away from these national TV games, especially when everybody's on one side. But Mavs, the only way I could look in this one, guys. Yeah, man, like Ronald say, hit the like button, man. And another person in chat said, I better see 700 likes. We here giving out free NBA picks every single day, Shark. I don't think we could ask for some likes and shares on Twitter, Facebook, whatever. Man, hit the like button. We're giving out free NBA picks, Shark. Break them off with the officials before we get up out of here.
2 top games, 4 top looks, 9 words of lifestyle. Ride the wave or get out of the water. Nuggets, first quarter, -2.5. First half, -4. As I discussed before, Nuggets are 5-0 first quarter and first half at Eastern opponents. This is Eastern opponents all across the grid. Chicago, New York, Orlando, Miami, Atlanta. Doesn't matter what the team's quality is or where it is on the United States geographic map. Second play, Spurs first quarter -1.5, first half -3. Both the teams we're fading tonight are coming off of long West Coast road trips and 3-0 ATS samples. Very unsustainable. And both teams we're buying have great first quarter, first half trends in this environment and are playing the front end of a back-to-back, where they're going to want to get out there and dominate the first quarter, first half, and then save energy late. Top 4 plays, great looks, Tuesday night, January 25th, 2022. J Money is money. A pleasure, as always. Happy Hour Hoops. Hope you guys in the chat are having an amazing night. Take care of your life, your mind, your body, your soul, and your spirit. You'll feel fucking amazing, and we can all dominate this life together. Close them out. My man.
And go work out too, man. Go get a workout in. Let's get some fucking energy going. Some push-ups, sit-ups, do whatever y'all got to do, man. Get some energy going. We're working all day, man. We're trying to get some cash. Timberwolves, trifecta for me. I'm howling with the Wolves. That's my top play of the day, trifecta spot. What are we doing? We're fading the home teams coming off long, successful road trips. Sharks doing it with the Nuggets and the Spurs. I like those looks as well. He's going 4-0. Give me trifecta spot with the Timberwolves. Personally, guys, like I say earlier, if you watched the show, I did take the Raptors trifecta as well. Those were at worst numbers. If you still like it, you can take it with me. I don't necessarily think this this is an auto bounce back for the Hornets. I know that they've been a little bit better on the road as well. They're also missing a couple of key players, mainly Hayward over there. So we'll see what the Raptors do. Hopefully, at least Scotty Barnes play. I still need it, but like I said, I'm not even necessarily telling you guys to tell it. I'm hopping with the Spurs first quarter, first half, and Nuggets as well with my guy Sharp. We riding out, man. We going 8-0 tonight, man. 9-0. Heavy lean to the Lakers first half, full game. Couldn't talk you off. Heavy lean to the Mavs as well. These guys have owned the Warriors of late. It could change, but it's the only way I could put my money. Pelicans 76ers under as well, guys. The only way I can look. Let's get some cash, guys. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out. We back tomorrow.